played 18 seasons in the NFL.
Yeah.
All as a starter. Great career. Peyton Manning was my number 5.
Yeah, and I'll say something else about that too. Especially not his time in Denver. In Denver, I think he did have a great group of receivers, but his time with the Colts, when he was playing at elite level, I mean, those other receivers when they left Indy, they didn't like Marvin Harrison left Indy. He was done.
Yeah,
he was done. Reggie Wayne really. Yeah, Reggie Wayne had put together, I think, another solid year with Luck. And then he's like done too. So I think he elevated, especially his slot guys. He elevated his slot receivers big time, and they got paid off of it too. So Peyton Manning's ability to elevate other players also is something else too.
Okay, so you're number 5.
So my number 5, we already talked about him a little bit. It was Brett Favre. I don't know. I love watching Brett Favre. I like watching his mentality. Now I'll say that I love watching him. I'm a big guy on not turning the ball over, and Favre's like a pretty reckless. But as far as being like fun to watch, and just a gamer and just doing whatever it takes to win, and that's how Brett Favre was, man. And the guy, I mean, I remember seeing some tape or seeing a show. He was with Gruden on the quarterback camp. He actually did a special on Favre because. John Gruden loves him some Brett Favre.
He does.
Brett Favre, man. But like they watched some game film where Favre's throwing into like triple coverage and double coverage, and they're like, why'd you make that throw, man? Why'd you do that? And Brett Favre says, I told everybody because I can do that. I can make that throw. And it's what it is. His mentality was he can make any throw on the field, and so I like that about him. And most of the time he could. But we went through all his accolades earlier. The guy's great. So that's my number 5.
All right. Number 4 is John Elway for me. As a Chiefs fan, you hated seeing Elway coming into Arrowhead. Every year. He played 16 years. He was a Super Bowl MVP, 9-time Pro Bowler. Played from 1983 to 1998. Like I said, won 2 Super Bowls late in his career, back to back, and then lost 3 early in his career. But he was a great player. He was clutch. The drive, obviously. Yeah. When you think of John Elway taking his team down in Cleveland and ruining their hopes, at advancing in the playoffs there. But, my number 4, John Elway.
My number 4 is also John Elway. So I got nothing but good things to say about him. The guy, we were talking about it off air a little bit. I thought that John Elway is clutch. And he became more clutch even later in his career. But this guy is just a clutch player. And also I remember, there's great games with him. I'm trying to remember right now, who did he lose to? What Super Bowls did he lose? What quarterbacks did he lose to? Did he lose to?
I think Montana.
Lost to Montana, and then, I can't remember who else they lost to.
Yeah,
but losing to Montana, whatever. Like it's all good. But John Elway, he could scramble a little bit too. Good arm. Another guy that like a Favre who's like super gutsy and just will go out there and just make the plays and stuff. Play with some good coaches. Play with some other guys. Really helped him out later in his careers when they drafted Terrell Davis.
Yep.
And he got that running game, and that helps out. Another cool thing he did was I don't think how many seasons did he play?
He played
16.
John Elway 16 years. Yep.
And I think he retired. So he retired on a high note after winning 2
Super Bowls.
And I don't think he didn't really let Father Time didn't catch him to me because he still played at a high level.
Yeah.
Those last 2 years, I think he still could have played. I think he was ready to move on and get out before his body got beat up too much. Mm-hmm. But saying something about that, as you played at a high level for 16 seasons, I don't know if anybody else has done that. Where every season, even our number 1 guy, we'll talk about later, early in his career, he wasn't great. But John Elway was always great. So, I'm a Chiefs fan, and John Elway gave me nightmares. And I have good memories though about Montana beating him, on the Chiefs when we went to, I think we were in Denver. But it's the battles he would have with other quarterbacks and the battles he would have with Joe Montana when he was here, and he just terrorized our defense, our great defense. Chiefs had great defenses in the 90s. Yeah. He was awesome, man. So, yeah, John Elway's great.
All right, number 3 for me, the only guy on my list that did not win a Super Bowl, but I felt you got to include him. You got to include him high. Dan Marino, 9-time Pro Bowler, NFL MVP. He was 5 times the passing leader in the league, 3-time touchdown leader. Played for 17 seasons, 1983 to 1999. Dan Marino obviously didn't win the Super Bowl, but I don't put that on Dan Marino as much as I put that on the Dolphins organization.
You really, yeah. So he's also my number 3. I think our list from here on out is pretty much the same. But Marino,
he never had any help. He never had any wide receivers that were any good. He never had a running game. He never had a defense.
Sometimes when you start saying that about players, it can feel like a cop out. Yeah. But literally go through his teams.
Yeah,
I don't know if they wanted to spend any money. I'm serious. They had Marino, and they literally just were like, "It's all good. You're good." They never grabbed free agents.
No,
I think maybe. No, yeah. I mean, they never put any help around this dude. Kind of like, he's not on our list, but kind of like sometimes what I feel like Green Bay does with Rodgers.
Yeah,
they got Aaron Rodgers. The one year they did go get some defensive help and top 10 defense, they won the Super Bowl. So if Marino would have ever even had a top 15 or a top 10 defense, you could say whatever. If he would have played the Cowboys, I don't know if they even would have beat them, because the 90s Cowboys are ridiculous. And we could talk about that. Could be another show where we talk about some of the best teams. But I don't think you can. I don't think you can put that against him. Is he the best player that never won a Super Bowl?
In my opinion, yes.
You could put Kelly up there, or Thomas. Thurman Thomas, anybody off the Bills. That's probably the best team that never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the best team to never win.
But Marino is probably the best. Marino is the best player to never win a Super Bowl, and it's too bad because he did go to one Super Bowl early in his career. It's either his first or second. I think it's his first year, and they get creamed by. Is it Montana?
I think it is Montana.
Montana's taking guys to school. Man.
Yeah, but Dan Marino, great quarterback, great player. Obviously, he's in my top 3 quarterbacks. So, moving on, number 2, no shock here, Joe Montana.
Yep.
Joe Montana was 4-0 in the Super Bowl. He was the only person to win 3 Super Bowl MVPs. He won the most games in the postseason. Or no, he has the most games in the postseason with a passer rating over 100.
So they had that Bill Walsh coming in with the West Coast offense, and he perfected it with Montana and Rice. No one really has said this about Montana, but even if it's ever brought up, a lot of people say Montana had Jerry Rice. Well, Montana still went to the Chiefs. He didn't know Jerry Rice, and he still was ultra effective at the end of his career. And he knew his body. I think he knew his body was done, but he had played in the league however long,
16 years.
Yeah, so the guy's durable, and I think that West Coast offense is out the quick passing. It's just, I think it's a 2-step drop or a 3-step drop, just quick.
Yep, just get it out of your hand.
Tons of slants, everything highly accurate.
Yes.
Also, whenever the 49ers decided to move on to Steve Young, he took that in stride. They traded him to the Chiefs, played well in Kansas City until he got hurt. But Joe Montana also he's another guy that's really clutch. That's something that's coming up here in the top, our real top guys, like John Elway's clutch. Montana is way clutch.
Yes.
They're probably the most.
Yeah. And, got the nickname Joe Cool. There's the famous story of they're playing in it was either the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, and they got to go on a drive to win the game, and he looks up from the huddle, and, they're 80 yards from the end zone, and looks up, and he goes, "Hey, guys, John Candy's standing in the end zone."
Yeah, so, I remember that story, and you said the the guys in the huddle I think they felt just calm.
Yeah.
Like after that, like they were just like, oh, and because Montana just played, man. He was a machine and just
it's like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go down and score.
Run that West Coast stuff, and I think a lot of because of what he did for that system, a lot of teams run either they
base their offense off
that West Coast stuff. Andy Reid does a lot of West Coast stuff, and like he with Walsh really helped revolutionize the game, and so I think you got to give him a lot of props for that. So
yeah, number one, no surprise here for both of us, Tom Brady. He has won the most games as a quarterback, 196. He has the most playoff wins, 27. Most TD passes, 71. In the Super Bowl, he holds several records. He's thrown the most touchdowns in the Super Bowl. He's got the most wins as a quarterback in the Super Bowl at 5. He has the most passing yards, most passes completed, most passes attempted, most appearances. He is 5-3. They've lost 3 Super Bowls, but him and Charles Haley are the only players that have 5 championships. And Tom Brady's done it for 17 years. Came in for an injured Drew Bledsoe in 2000 and has never looked back.
Yeah, so I think Tom Brady is also my number one. A thing I like about Brady is his ability to change his style. I talk about that a lot. Like when he first came in, he was like a game manager. His numbers aren't impressive. I think in that first Super Bowl, I think he threw for less than 200 yards. So he's just big time game manager. And when he stepped up in that starter role, over time you can see his play develop to where he gets better and better and better. And the team kind of switches because they started winning. They won. They win a couple Super Bowls. He's pretty much a game manager. There's one season where they pick up Corey Dillon, who gets like 1,600 yards for him. They rely on the run game a lot. And then it's like that season, you keep on going. You see Tom Brady kind of develop into what he did in 2007 with the offense. They traded for Randy Moss. They brought in Dante Stallworth. They had Jabbar Gaffney, brought in Wes Welker. I don't know if they had Gronkowski that season.
I don't think they had.
I think they were rolling with their tight end was Hernandez.
Yeah,
who was a great player, good player, but whatever. But anyways, Tom Brady, and then now his style changes even more to where he basically gets the ball out quick. His timing is actually I saw one number. His timing actually has gotten better, or his release.
Yep.
So he's gotten faster, and that's what's helping him keep his career going. Keeps the sacks down. I thought he did everything he could have in the Super Bowl this season or this year. He didn't lose that game. The Patriots defense did.
Yeah.
And also, I say that
they couldn't get a stop.
Eagles also played really well on offense. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but like you talked about it off air before. If you would have gave me Tom Brady's stat line.
Yeah, he threw for over 500 yards
with no score, and say, did the Patriots win? You would say yes.
Yeah,
he threw for over 500 yards. The offense had 600 yards. No picks. 3 touchdowns.
I think 3 touchdowns. Yeah.
So, and the thing is, if they win, he's MVP for sure. So, and the thing is, if I told you that Tom Brady is going to play another 4 years,
I wouldn't be shocked.
What's he at? Is he at 16 or 17?
He is at 17 seasons right now.
So if I told you he was going to play even another 3 and play 20 years, would you be shocked?
No.
The guy takes
that's crazy to start at quarterback, play quarterback in the NFL for 20 years. Nobody's ever done it for that long. That's crazy. And he's still playing at a high level.
Eventually, Father Time will catch him. Eventually,
Yeah.
Father Time's undefeated. You can't just play forever and never go down. But this guy is doing almost everything he can to not. I know he puts he invests a lot of time and money into his body, taking care of himself. He's highly athletic. He looks a lot better than Manning did in his last season. Manning looked like he was done.
Yeah, Manning. Manning was very cerebral in his last season and couldn't really throw the ball downfield as well. You could tell in his throws that he had lost some velocity.
Right.
But, looking at Brady, you don't see that right now.
And I think Brady's deep ball isn't as good as it was maybe 10 years ago. But he still has a good deep ball because he threw a few good ones in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And so Tom Brady's my number one. And Montana is close to me, and I actually personally, I like Joe Montana better.
Yeah.
But I think Tom Brady's number one, and I don't think